Good morning and welcome back to the Big Bear Yarns podcast, episode number 24. I'm Anna, the dyer behind Big Bear Yarns. This is pardon me. This is my podcast where I will talk about everything I've been knitting and crocheting. There's actually no crochet this week. Reading, listening to and watching, and just life things. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll just get started. So I do have a finished item this week. Look at that. I can't get over how lovely they are. They don't quite match, but I don't care because it's close enough and they're meant to be scrappy, so that's what they are. They're just scrappy. I just cut the yarn, reattached it, and it came out the way it came out. All of the yarn except for this one is like a self-striping, self-patterning. The dark blue is really just like a very light variegated. So these are socks number 38 that I've knit this year. They're for myself. They are knit on 2.5mm DPNs, cuff down, 64 stitches, 64 stitches, 34 stitches would be tiny, and I do not have tiny feet. Okay, they are knit entirely from West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in the colour Candy Cane, Vintage Tinsel, Candy Cane, Fairy Lights, Candy Cane, and Silent Night. Hold on. Kitten, it's not lunchtime yet, sweetheart. She's meowing. Hey kitten. Oh no, don't attack Odin. So yeah, and then it just repeats all the way down. So I did 30 rounds of a 2x2 rib. Then I did 10 rounds of each colour, interspersing Candy Cane, a different colour, Candy Cane, another colour, and so on and so forth, until I got to the heel, where I did something slightly different. So because I didn't want the stripes to be completely disrupted, I did 5 rounds of knitting above the heel. Then I did the heel flap and turn, and then I did 5 rounds picking up the gusset stitches and the decreases in Candy Cane. Then I went back into the 10 rounds of each colour, which then left me with the predicament at the toe where I'd only have done 5 rounds of the Vintage Tinsel, which I didn't really want. So I did 5 rounds of Vintage Tinsel, then I did 5 rounds of the toe, then I went back to Candy Cane. I did that on both of them, and weirdly they've turned out pretty similar, the toes. It's weird how that works out. It's weird how it works out. I suppose a lot of these repeats of colours in this Christmas range are not massively long colour repeats, so they worked out pretty even not doing any sort of colour. I wasn't doing any sort of colour control. I was just knitting through, and they've matched up pretty well. So yeah, had to get some new blockers because my other wooden ones, the one that's the right size to block my socks, the top of it just snapped off, so I couldn't even hang them up anymore. So I bought some new ones, and the smaller, I'm glad that I got the bigger set actually, because the biggest in the big size set is the one that actually fits my foot. The second size, the middle size, because it comes with 3 sizes, the middle size is good for my mum and my sister's one feet, because they've got shorter feet than me, but my feet were just baggy when I put it on their one. So I've only got one finished item this week. got my hair up today because it is boiling. Okay, I'll just go through them. Some of them I don't have a lot of progress on a lot of these socks because I was away from Wednesday to Friday evening for my sister's birthday celebration, so I really haven't done that much knitting, and I was sitting in the back of a car with Odin because we live in Essex in the UK, and we went to the Cotswolds for their birthday a few days away, and my mum sat in the front of the car with Dita, our little staffy. My sister was driving, and I sat in the back with Odin, the giant snow dog, and he was very upset.
Some courgettes.
Our neighbour just gave us some courgettes, apparently. Show me. Wow, that's a big one. Wow. My neighbour. Yeah, so I was sitting in the back of the car with Odin, which didn't really leave much space to do any knitting because he's not a very restful travel companion. On the way there, he wouldn't settle down to sleep. He was the most tired dog you've ever seen. There was just big fluffy head, just looking just so tired, but would not go to sleep. And then on the way back, I also couldn't do much knitting because, again, he wouldn't really sleep laying down. He'd only sleep with his head on my shoulder, which is very cute, but he's got a very heavy head, so I've got a little bit of a sore neck from there. And the seatbelt kind of rubbed my neck really badly because seatbelts are just not designed for women, are they? So that to be said, there's not a lot of progress on a lot of things, but there's a bit of progress on a couple of things. I'll just show you what I've done. Okay, I honestly can't remember where I was with most of these, so it might be the same as last week. I don't remember. So these are my scrappy socks. This is my own colour. This is Town from the Fourth Wing Yarn Club. This is Mango Loco from Molten Yarns. This is Book Top Girls by me. This is a Christmas colour by Pickle and Twist. This is Rainy Days by me. This is a discontinued colourway, Winter Sunset by me. And then this is Rose Tea, also my own colour. So I did 20 rounds, 10, 15, 5, 5, 5 and 10 rounds of them. That's most of the colours for these socks. But there is one more, which is this little guy, which is Odin, like the god, not my dog. And I'll be doing the heel and then this one, and that is all the colours for that. Some of these colours are available in my shop. So Rose Tea is available currently for pre-order, and I do have some Rainy Days in stock on my 4-ply, I think it's merino, it's my silk or marine, or it's my silk or mohair one. I can't remember off the top of my head which one. I think mohair, which is good for socks. They're quite luxurious socks, but they're very soft when you use those ones. So I don't think I've made any progress on those. I've made no progress on these ones, but I'll just show you quickly. I'm on the second sock for this. These are for my sister. This is in River on the sparkle base. I'm not sure you can really see the sparkle on camera. You can see it in real life. It is sparkly in person. So River Dread Persephone and Artemis Forest. This is the second sock, so completed the first one. So this one hopefully will be done this week, because I would like to get them off knee, just because I do have 3 more colours I meant to have cast on by the end of the month. And how many days do we have in August? So we've got 31 in August, so I've got 6 days. I should be able to finish 3 socks. I should be able to finish 3 socks by the end of the month and have the new ones cast on. So I'll go into more detail about these next week when they're finished. They're very pretty though. I kind of wish they were for me. I haven't got any river for myself, but I've only got, hold on a second. Pardon me. But I've only got a couple of the river skeins left, and I don't dye it until we get into like closer to Christmas, because it is a Christmas colour. I do like to try and stick to that, because otherwise you can just be trying to dye everything all the time and it sort of doesn't have as much meaning. So I honestly have just forgotten in the middle of what I was saying, so I'm just going to move on. Oh yeah, these are on Knit Pro Zings. They are 2.5mm, same as my other socks, 64 stitches, cuff down. Hold on a second, Odin is licking his paw. Odie bear! Odin! Come here! Odin! Come here! Instead of coming here, he's gone further away. He gives himself hot spots on his front paws in the summertime by just licking them constantly, so he has to be stopped doing that. Oh, I have made some progress on these ones. Not much, but some. Progress is progress. So these are knit on Addy Premium 10cm, 2.5mm. And this is the Yarnsmith Merino sock in just black. I don't think it's like a shade of black, I think it's just black. I don't know if it's black. It's as black is, really. I've done the 20 rounds for the 2x2 cuff. That's it. I'd done 5 rounds in the last episode. So this is the Yarnsmith, which Yarnsmith is like the house yarn of Wool Warehouse, which is my favourite online shop to buy yarn in the UK. So, and it's shade 2K000. They're for my sister. I bought a lot of if you've watched for a while, you'll have seen I bought a whole load of just solid colours to knit my sister some socks that she can wear like to work and things, and is not going to be teased by the kids at school. She's a teacher, for being uncool. So just plain old black socks. Yeah, nothing really to say about them at the moment. I think they will just be vanilla socks, because with them being black, I don't want to deal with any kind of patterning, and vanilla socks is my favourite type of sock. Just want to get this basket sorted out really quickly so I don't get myself in a bit of a pickle once I finish. So 1 second. Just sort this out a little bit. What I'll do is I'll take these out. I'll put that in, and then we'll get, okay, so I'm not sure if any of these have had much work done on them, but these ones have. So I'm on the second sock. This is the first one. They're for me. I do like the speckles on this. I wasn't fully convinced because of the ways the speckles were changing, but I actually do like them. So I've done sock number 1, and I'm on to sock number 2. I think when you saw this last week, I was on sock number 2, but I'd only done 5 rounds of the cuff. I've now done the whole cuff and most of the leg, so it's a 50 round leg, and I've done I've done 46 rounds, so I'll be onto the heel flap today. So these ones as well, I'm hoping to have them off the needles by next week, as one of the 3 pairs I definitely need to get cast off this month. These are, sorry, this is, let me go wrong, this is Drops Confetti Cake, which until the end of the month is Drops Fable. Did I say Drops Fable? Drops Fable. And so I can't remember what I've said after I've just said it. It's a problem. Drops Fable Confetti Cake, which is 30% off until the end of the month at Wool Warehouse. So I made up 2 cakes, and this is what is left from the first cake. This is one I haven't broken into, but there was a factory knot in one of the balls, so I just made it into 2 cakes, and this is what was left of the, like, roughly half of the cake. And I've just started on the second cake for the second sock. I wanted to try and limit as much as possible the number of ends, because I'm doing so many scrappy socks at the moment that have a lot of ends. So if I can just have 2 ends, nearly took my eye out. If I can have just 2 ends for the whole main colour of a sock, and then 4 ends for that does make, I mean, to be fair, really, like, it doesn't make that much difference, but it does delay me in weaving in the ends, because what I do now is I cast on, you know, one tail, and then I just pick up the stitches. I just move my start of round when I'm doing the picking up stitches and the gusset back 1 needle, so instead of needle 4 becoming needle 1, I make needle 3 number 1, and then just do the same decreases as I would usually do, and then just once I finished with the gusset decreases, just move the beginning of round back to needle 1, and I don't have to cut the yarn. So, and I haven't noticed any difference with the sock doing it that way at all. No notable difference, except fewer ends. So these should be done by next week. I'm going to concentrate on them. Yes, so I think this has had a bit more work done on it, but again, not a huge amount. So sock number 1 done. Looks so wrinkled up. It's going to look better once it's been blocked. This is in my own yarn. This is the Wildflower colour, which isn't available at the moment in my shop because it all sold out. And I'm going to try, I've had a few inquiries about if I will be restocking it. Yes, it will be restocked, but due to for me, when it comes to a colour that is all speckled, it's very difficult to say for certain that when I re-dye it, it's going to look like this for you. That it's, that the way all the, because when you drop dry dye onto a yarn, I can't really control where it goes. I can't really control how that dye is going to split or anything when it hits. So I don't like to have people purchase a yarn as a pre-order thinking that it's going to be exactly like this, when I can't guarantee it will be. So what I will do is I will be dyeing up another batch of Wildflower, and I will photograph the new colour and replace the photographs from this batch with the new ones, and then you can see if you would like, if the customers want it, who'd been asking. Because I just want to people to, it's difficult enough as it is to photograph colour exactly as it looks in real life. It's so difficult to get it, to get the lighting right so it's not blown out. That dyeing up a colour that I already feel uncertain if it's going to look the same, I couldn't have people purchasing pre-orders of a colour that might not turn out like this. So yes, there will be a restock of Wildflower, but it might not look quite like this, is what I'm saying. If that makes sense. I feel like I just said a lot, and I'm not actually sure if it even, but I'm not going to say anymore because it's probably, I probably was clear. Maybe. So, I have done the cuff. 20 rounds of a 2x2 cuff. These are being knit on my Knit Pro Symphony wooden needles. These are also 2.5mm and they're 15 centimeters long. These ones probably won't be done. Oh, actually, I say that. They could be done for next week with me like pushing to get some socks done, because it's only 20 rounds for the leg, which means that I'll get them down to the heel in the next day or so, depending on how quick they get through my other socks. So yeah, these ones are 20 rounds, heel flap, which is a slip stitch heel and turn, and then I did gusset pickup. I mean, I think my gusset pickup has been pretty neat. What I've actually been doing, I don't know, because I learnt to knit socks. I do the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla socks on DPNs. I just learnt her pattern, that's just what I do, and I just adjust sometimes to add a little bit of pattern in based on those stitch counts. But with hers, when she gets you to pick up the stitches in the corner here, on the video it says to pick up 2 stitches, but I now pick up 3, and I think that helps to close that kind of like slight gap you might get in the sock. Like it kind of closes up this little gap here. I don't really get much of a gap there. I don't know if you can see better on these ones. There's a bit of a gap here, but I think that's actually just where I change colours. Yeah. So they might be, but I don't know if they will be done for next week. I'm hoping they will be, because I do want to get as many socks off the needles and crack on as possible, because I feel like I have been a bit slow the last couple of months. Like in July I only got 3 pairs done. 3? 2? I didn't get 5. So this one I think I've made progress on. Let me just make sure I'm not losing any stitches, because I've done that a few times this week. So yeah, so I think I have made some progress. These ones are scrappy socks again, and they are all Cascade Heritage prints. Different leftovers I have. Again, they're going to be 100% scrappy. I'm not going to do any colour management. The repeats in Cascade Heritage are quite long, so I think you will see more of a difference between these socks, this pair of socks, than you do in the West Yorkshire Spinners ones, because the West Yorkshire Spinner ones, that's not a long pattern repeat. It tends to be like, you can get through a whole pattern repeat in just the leg normally. Have a sip of water. So I'll just go through the colours. I've just grabbed all the Cascade Heritage patterned yarn, and I didn't weigh how much was in each of them. I don't really care. I'm going to make patterned socks, and then I might make another pair patterned scrappy socks, and then I'll probably make another set of scrappy socks because I've got more Cascade Heritage that will be coming on the needles eventually. So there's this one. This was this is an older one because it's in a ball. Any of the yarns that are in balls are a bit older. Oh gosh, this one's kind of, let me rewind that. I'll do it with that little knot at the end later. There's this one. And this was a Christmas one. And this is the one that's attached at the moment. I actually have a lot of this yarn. This colour. I have a lot of this one because I bought like 6 or 8 ages ago because I'd intended to knit like a jumper. I don't know what I was thinking. Every so often I could just get this thing of thinking, oh, I would just love to have a lovely light 4-ply jumper knit on tiny needles, and it'd be so like intricate and just perfect. And I start knitting it, and I go in with full enthusiasm, forgetting what I'm like. Every single one has been frogged. That's not 100% true actually. I did knit my sister one Christmas like a, I think they call that cocoon cardigans. You only knit like a giant square and then you seam it to make the sleeves and things. I made her one of those in a Cloudborn colour. I don't know if you can, no, maybe kind of. There's this one. It's in this, not this colour. This was like it was like a wheat colour, like a brownie, like a light brownie beige. But it was this type of yarn. It was a Cloudborn. What is it? Cloudborn. It's like it's a. I can't remember what it's called. I probably have a thing for it somewhere, but I'm not sure. But it was this yarn. It's like 100%. It's fingering weight, 100% wool, not superwash. It's lovely, but I made her one of those on 3mm needles. I worked out it was hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of stitches, and it's beautiful, but whenever it comes to making something like that for me, I just get bored and frog it. I was talking about socks, wasn't I? Then there's this colour, which goes, it's like, you'll actually, if you've watched recently, this was a pair of socks I knit recently, so it's this lovely green, and then it goes into a darker blue. And then this one is like a blue-green, and it goes through to, I think it's better at this end, like a light green and red. So let me see if I can hold all of them at once. I'm not hopeful I will. I've got quite small hands, which isn't very useful actually. So these are the colours. It's going to be purely scrappy. I'm not sure how many rounds I'm going to do for each colour. I'll work it out as I go. These two look very similar, but they're actually different. They're quite obviously different when you put them together, but sort of if you see one, then you see another. They kind of, I think, look a bit similar. I'm not sure who these ones are going to be for yet. Depends. Often I'll just knit them, and if someone sees them and I haven't got to the foot yet, so I haven't like finished a sock yet, and they say, oh, I love those, that's for them then. But if they don't say anything, I'll probably just keep it for myself. I think that's all. Oh no, we've got 2 more pairs, I think. 2 more and that's it. I have made some progress on this actually, not a lot. So this is my own colour. This is my 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon sock blend 4-ply. It is Pink Pony Club, and it's, although I say so myself, it's really beautiful, and it's knitting up so beautifully. Let me show you. It's knit. I'm onto the heel flap. I'm about halfway through the heel flap. The variegation is just perfect. It's exactly what I was hoping for, where it's just, there's no like, I mean, even on camera, because the camera always makes it look like it's pulling a whole lot more than it is in real life, but even on camera it doesn't look like it's pulling. Look at the variegation on it and the speckles, because this yarn is dyed with, look, there's 3 pinks, 2 pinks and a purple are the liquid dyes added to the yarn, and then there are speckles on top, which has actually made a really beautiful variegation. And I might look at doing a similar thing again, but with blues. Some shades of blue and then some darker blues on top. Probably do it with a few like colour schemes actually, because it's really pretty the way it's distributed. I do that a lot actually. So if with a certain technique, like once I dyed rose tea in that configuration of colours, sorry, I just got a message. Once I dyed up rose tea and I tried out the colour and realised how evenly the yarn, the dye is distributed, where no matter what I've knit with it, I've crocheted at the top with it, and again there was no pull in. I've done socks with it. I've knit like a small scarf, again just perfectly distributed, seems regardless of how it's knit up. And because of that, I've used that exact same technique on several other colours, like Golden Hour. That one is the same, it should be the same distribution of dye, but just in different colours. A few others, I can't remember off the top of my head actually. It's not good. So I'm onto the heel flap of this one. I do have Pink Pony Club in stock. It is in stock on this base, the 75/25 4-ply. It's also the same yarn in DK. I have that in stock. I don't know what I was trying to say. I have it on 75/25 DK sock. I have it on zebra sock, which is 4-ply. I have it on silk 4-ply. I think that's it, but I've got about 10 skeins. So let me put that down there, and then this is the last of my socks, I think. Oh yeah, I have actually made, these are ones I did a little bit of work on while we were away. Okay. So, and these socks are very pretty. They're so unlike anything I would usually buy or dye, and I love that. Like, again, look how well they've done with this distribution of dye. It's just all the way down, so uniform. Like, there's a little bit of colour pooling at the gusset pickup, but that will always happen with a hand-dyed, speckled or variegated. There will be some colour pooling that happens on the two sides of the sock when you have hand-dyed yarn. That's not a problem. That's just the nature of hand-dyed yarns. One side is blue and the other side is only the pink. But look at it. It's just beautiful. I'm on the first sock. I've gone down to, I've got, I must be on, I'm on the toe. That's what it is. I'm onto the toe for these ones. These are for me. This is twin knits, I think. Yeah, twin knits. We bought, it was bought for me on Etsy. It's 4-ply, 80% merino wool, 20% nylon. I assume it's superwash, but it doesn't actually say that it's superwash. I kind of hope it is superwash, because for socks, it's a little bit annoying. I mean, maybe, I suppose I have to just assume it's not superwash because it just says merino wool. I'll probably just assume it's not superwash. And it also doesn't have the colour name on there, which again is a little bit annoying because it was a gift, so I don't even know what colour it is if I wanted to get it again or something. But it's lovely yarn. It feels like superwash. But it's very unlike my usual old and kind of, I tend to go whole hog when it comes to colours. I've tried to be a pastel girl. I've tried to just pop a little bit in, just do a tiny bit. And I don't know, I'm impatient as well sometimes, so I hate waiting to see if it like how it's gonna, so I just add some more in every time. I have purchased, I've got them here I think actually. I have purchased, which hopefully will make a bit of a difference. I've purchased some new measuring spoons for my dyeing. Oh, sorry DT, sorry Bub. Got my bag on, hers just sock. So I purchased some new, because I do have some measuring spoons, but they're not the scientific ones, so I got a pack of normal size teaspoons. This one goes from a tablespoon all the way down to 1/8 of a teaspoon. But then what made me get it was it comes also with even smaller ones. So then the tiny set I thought would be really good for being as accurate as possible with some of my speckled yarns. So the biggest one in this is 1/4 of a teaspoon, and then it goes down to 1/64 of a teaspoon as the smallest one. So like these two are tiny, like this one is smaller than my little fingernail. Yeah, 1/64 of a teaspoon. So I thought this would be perfect to get exactly level and pop. That's a weird sound. And do my speckling. think that was all my socks. So part of the reason I have got so little work done on my socks is also because I was doing other knitting. So I finished the back, which is, I finished the back. Oh, hold on, it's got so much Odin hair on. Let me show you. It's horrendous. Look. Let me get that off. Oh. So, no. So I've done the back of this top. Which actually, to be fair, isn't the reason the socks haven't been done, this one, because it only took me about 15 minutes to finish it off. I made some alterations to the pattern for this, but I will make a note. I'll go into more detail once I've done once I finish the top and I know it actually works, because right now it might not work. This is the Breezy something. No, it's not. It's the Chilled Out Vest by Paintbox Yarns on Lovecrafts. I'm making size 3. It's with a DK cotton blend yarn, and I'm using a different yarn than they recommend. They recommend a Paintbox yarn. I'm using Drops Cotton Light in a purple shade. It is all covered in Odin fluff because the morning we were leaving for the trip, I put Odin in the front room while my mum brought her stuff in, and he kicked the whole I put in this little basket. He kicked the whole box over and all the yarn was everywhere, like under the chairs, under the sofa. So it's all covered in fluff right now. So that is not the reason for very little work done on the socks. This is the reason for very little work being done on socks. So this is a cardigan I am self-drafting. I'm almost done. I'm on to the 10th out of 11th colour. This one, so I only have this one and this one to go. This is Elaine and High Lord of the Night Court. Odin hair. I'm holding it double with, I'm holding it with Drops Kid Silk. Drops Kid Silk lace weight. So that's really helping to meld the colours together. I think I bought, did I buy 4 or 5? I've got it on my orders anyway, but I'm down to the last bit of this one I'm on. So I'm going to have to, I think, if I used 2, yeah, I'm going to have to get some more. So I used either 2 or 3 of the 25 grams to do the back of the cardigan, which means for the front I'm going to use at least the same amount, maybe a tiny bit less, because it is going to be it's going to decrease, it's going to be like a V, so there will be slightly less at the top, but I don't think it's going to be enough that it's going to make a massive difference, considering I will be on another one before I finish these colours. So I'm just doing this on 4mm needles with 4-ply and a 4-ply yarn with a lace weight fluff. It is a 2x2 broken rib, so on one row you will do knit 2, purl 2 all the way along, and then the next row you will knit, which gives you the appearance of a rib, but without it sucking in, so it doesn't suck in much at all like a rib would usually. I think it's turned out pretty good. It's going to turn out a little bit shorter than I had intended, because I didn't really think ahead. If I'd thought ahead, I would have done the stripes about 25% longer each to make it a longer cardigan, but it'll be fine. I think it's probably long enough, really. Also, I can add in some ribbon and things to make it a bit longer, can't I? It is what it is at this stage, though. Some of these colours I love a lot. I like all of them. But, like, this one, Autumn Court, that one is a good colour. That one, it might not be exactly the same because I only dyed it, like, the one time ages ago for the club, so I dyed up a whole batch of it, and I did write it down, but sometimes it's hard to remember exactly how you did it. So this colour just feels like it would be perfect to bring back in September as a nice new autumn colour. I do like it. It has turned out beautifully. You can't see it as much obviously because of the holding the fluff. One thing I will say about this fluff, I think it's pretty soft. It does shed. It gets on everything. It gets on my face right now. It does shed a lot. And I'm a person who's used to shedding. I have a fluffy cat and a snow dog who has been blowing his coat. I'm surprised he's not absolutely bald by now. I feel like every time I stroke that dog, there's just confetti of fluff everywhere. So I'm used to fluff, but this does shed a bit. Just bear that in mind. I'm hoping, I shouldn't say that because I'm also hoping to get a lot of my socks finished. And you only have so much time in like a week, don't you, to make any progress. But I would like to get, if possible, the back finished, which it shouldn't be too hard. How many rows have I done of the, so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've done 11 out of 16 for this colour, so I should be able to get this done. And I've got to think about what I want to do for the, if I would like, what I might do is put this then on some waste yarn and then do a 3-needle bind off at the end, but I don't mind seaming either. I'm not sure, I'll work it out as I go. So that's all I've been working on this week, which isn't a lot, but it's also not an insignificant amount. I'm going to have another sip of water because my throat is so dry. I'm not sure what's going on outside the window. My hedge is just, maybe my sister might be cutting it. That might be what it is. It could be a wood pigeon as well. So, what have we been watching? That's easy. That's easy. We've been watching Below Deck. Still on just the original Below Deck with Captain Lee. We are on series 9, I think. It's the one just after COVID had happened, when everything's kind of back to normal but not really. I just love it. It's just, it's so stupid, it's like, it's so petty, but I just love it. I'm addicted to it, honestly. Like, especially my sister's a teacher, so it's summer holidays here, so she's not working at the moment. So she's always coming in when I'm working and saying, do I go and watch some Below Deck? And I have to think to myself, no. much as you would like to, you have to do your work. Most of the time I do just continue doing my work, but sometimes I do take quite a long lunch to watch an episode or two. It's very addictive. I do, if you like, I mean, I'm not even a big reality TV person. I don't really watch any of the other reality TV things, but I do love that. I don't know if it's just to do with the water and the destination of seeing like the chefs producing the beautiful food. I don't know, but I love it. So that is really all we have watched. Yeah, that's it. I'm still listening to the same book. Let me just get it up because I'm going to get it wrong if I say what it is. I know I'm going to get it wrong. So, what I've been listening to is... Okay, so I couldn't remember last week what the first one. The first book is Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick. Which was very good. I liked it so much. As soon as it finished, I downloaded the second one. So I'm on to the second one, and I have about, I think, just under 2 hours to go, and it's about 26 hours, I think, to listen to. So, which is Storm of Secrets and Sorrow. And it's very good. I don't really actually, it says in all the things, like, all the characters are villains. I don't think the main character, Tessa, is a villain. I think she is just pushing back on a situation that she's been forced into, and she can't be held accountable for the damage her refusing to go along with this is going to cause. That's my feelings on it. It's really hard to go into detail about the books without giving away spoilers, because it does just chug along with the plot. The plot goes along, and some other things are I think they would spoil it. So I'll leave a link down below, and if you want to have a click and see about it, you should. So I think that's really it. The one thing I want to look up are some easy knit or crochet patterns for jumper for my mum, because my mum's birthday late in September. She's been saying it's been a few years. Well, actually, the last jumper I made her was before my dad died. So that would be it's probably about 5 or 6 years since I've made her any like real wearables. I've made her some summer t-shirts and things like that, things that don't take very long, but she has been strongly hinting for many years that she would like some more jumpers. So I'm going to look into probably a free pattern, because I really shouldn't be spending any extra money, for a nice plain simple, maybe like DK weight knit jumper. It could be crochet. Crochet is also good, but I do have quite a lot of, I've got mostly DK yarn at the moment, and I would rather not buy some more yarn. I have been looking though. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't really count as like yarn into your stash if you intend just to use it within like a month of getting it, because it's for a gift. And it also doesn't really count as like purchasing yarn as such in the same way, because it is a gift. So regardless of buying her the yarn, I would be spending money to buy her a gift. So I'm just spending that same money for what I would be purchasing her something else as the yarn, you see? I think that makes sense. I don't think that's bending the rules of not buying yarn as such, because I'm not going to be holding on to it. And to say that, I have been thinking, I've been looking on Wool Warehouse at some of their drops DK, they're like woolly ones. Because you see, I don't have it in here. The drops, what is the DK one? The drops DK sock called? Drops. It's completely gone from my head. Fiesta. Oh, I can't believe I remembered that. I honestly can't believe I remembered. The Drops Fiesta is actually not really scratchy at all, and I think it'll be it's got a slight bite to it, very slight. It's a lot softer than a West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, for example, or Regia. But I think that slight toothiness, I think it will wash out after you've washed it a couple of times. So I think that could make quite a nice jumper for her. Not too expensive either, because it's not a crazy expensive yarn to begin with. I'd probably only need about 10 or 11 to make her a nice jumper. So there might be one small yarn purchase coming. Maybe. I'm going to look through my yarn to see if I can, because I want to make her something special as well, because her previous one I did make in acrylic, and there are good things about acrylic yarn. I use acrylic quite a lot for various things, but it's so hot when you make a whole jumper out of an acrylic yarn. Cardigans not so much because they open, but a jumper, I think you just get so hot in them because there's no temperature regulation, whereas with a wool jumper it does like thermoregulate to an extent, and it moisture wicks and things like that, so it does keep you cooler. Because people will say to me a lot of the time, oh, how can you be wearing like wool socks in the summer? And it's like, well, they don't get hot in the same way as other things do. That's a whole other topic. So, oh yeah, so depending on the temperature this week, because the temperature has gone back up a bit, and like I've said many times, my kitchen where I dye yarn is actually in a conservatory, which was a terrible idea. I can blame other people for that decision. So when it is hot, I won't be dyeing yarn. However, if the temperature stays around 22 and under, I'll be dyeing yarn this week. I've got some pre-orders I need to dye up, so I will be in the kitchen in the next few days dyeing that. Which is mainly pumpkin spice and messy are the two colours I've mainly had to dye. So there will be some of both of those coming to the shop as well, because I always dye up more as I've got all the yarn out and the dye out and everything. I always dye up extra, so they'll be going to the shop. So if you're not sure what pumpkin spice looks like, this is pumpkin spice. It is just oranges and yellows and brown. I haven't got any pumpkin spice to show you in the yarn actually, that's why I'm doing this. So if you have been looking at buying pumpkin spice and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to wait 5 weeks for it to be dispatched, it won't be 5 weeks. I'll be dyeing up some in the next few days. So any orders that come in will be going out quite quickly. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, because of being away, I should have realised it. I wouldn't have time. Because of going away and everything, I didn't have time to properly sit down and write out my listing and everything for Witchy Weird Girl. So it actually isn't in the shop yet. It will be this week. I'm going to bring two new yarns to the shop this week. I've got to photo, because I didn't have time to photograph it and write all the listing and everything, especially because it's so variegated. I did want to make sure the photographs accurately showed it as much as possible, because there's a lot going on with this yarn. So Witchy Weird Girl is coming to the shop this week, as is my hands aren't big enough. There we go. As is Girls Girl. Oh, that is blown out. I think because the way these are, the way these are tied, they look so different. See, this is the pink is got into the middle of this one, but the pink is at the end of this one. Yeah, so this is Girls Girl, which is a pink and mauve and red variegated. So that will be coming to the shop. I will also be, I've been thinking about what I want to do going into next year, because I did really enjoy doing my yarn clubs, dyeing up a brand new colour every single month. That kind of was a surprise to me as well as the customers. So what I'm thinking, because I love books, is I'm thinking of start doing a club which will run a couple of months ahead. So I'll probably start advertising for the January colour in about November, and what it's going to be is the let's judge a book by its cover. So I'll pick, this isn't necessarily the book I'll be doing, but like I'll pick a book, so let's say The Resurrectionist. I'll pick a book and photograph it and dye a colour based on just the cover of the book. So you'll know, you won't see the yarn, but you will see the book cover, and I'll put the book cover up probably at least 6 weeks before the yarn will be dyed up and dispatched. I do love The Resurrectionist, it's such a good book. I am obsessed with all sort of like mythical creatures, and this like kind of isn't, it's like it's a fiction book, but it's kind of written as a real, as like real people, like this actual resurrectionist, going through like these creatures he's found. So you've got like sirens, and it goes through like their anatomy, like their skeletal structures and things. It's so cool. Yeah, it has like all the bones like numbered and listed, so you can see exactly how they've, and it's so cool. And then they kind of like a real science, like real science books do, where they kind of take the animal through the stages of like, you've got just a skeleton, then you've got the muscle structures, and you've got, you know, and it's got all kinds of creatures in it. I've run off on a tangent, haven't I? I do that. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of doing. I'll have more details coming up in the next few months where I think about it, because what I want to do is pick the books I would like to do and have like a rough idea about how I want the colours to look, so I'm not scrabbling around last minute, because I can be a last minute kind of person. I'm really trying not to be. This will make a beautiful like colour though, because as the gold sticker is printed on the book, that is part of the cover, so you can have like a lovely gold. Yeah, so that's one thing that will be coming to the shop, and it's not necessarily going, and it's not necessarily just going to be fiction books. It could be non-fiction, it could even be a cookery book, a gardening book, whatever I actually have a lovely book upstairs. I should have brought it down. It's this really old book. It's kind of slightly fallen apart because it's so old. My dad used to always, when he was in charity shops, which I don't know, would they be thrift shops in the US? Whenever he'd go into charity shops, he'd look through all the books and find really old ones with like inscriptions from 100, 200 years ago and things in them, and buy them for me because I love those sorts of things. So I've got a few books that are pretty old, and one of them in particular I would love to dye colours based on it. But let's get back on track. So I'll show you a couple of colours that are in the shop at the moment and available for immediate dispatch. So we've got crushed berries. Take the label off. We've got, hold on, I'm going to ignore that cat for a minute. We've got crushed berries, which is just like a plum purple and a dark blue, all over speckled. I do want to knit some socks out of these. I've got a few of them in stock at the moment. Now I've picked out the yarns I'm going to knit next month, and it's not going to be that one. And then we have Lagoon. Can't get this off of it. There we go. We've got that's blue. There we go. We've got Lagoon, which is just shades of blue, but really light blue up to like a purpley indigo. Yeah. Then there is an autumn colour. Why are these yarn labels not coming off instantly? We have pumpkin soup, which is browns and oranges with peachy tones. I do love pumpkin soup. I love a smooth pumpkin soup. But also my favourite soup would be carrot and coriander, but you want the carrot and coriander, the soup to be smooth, but then like a small portion of like the carroty bit left, put aside and then put back in, so you've got some little carroty bite. I should make some soup soon. We're all heading into soup weather, not yet though, because we're still at 24 degrees today. And lavender lemonade, which is yellow and purple, but the purple breaks so beautifully. You end up with these blue patches, and it's just lovely. It just knits up so beautifully. The variegation just knits up. I've got, if you have a look on my listing, there are photographs of the socks, because I've knit 2 pairs of socks out of this, and it just knits up so beautifully. I was going to go through, let me go and grab my cat because she's being so bad. Hey Damon, come here. Oh. We're back. She's scratching things. Let me hold her. She's just purring now. She does this every time. She is lovely, but she is a toxic little girl, so if she wants to be cuddled, she will just do something naughty like scratch things, push things off to get picked up, so then she can just purr. Don't you? So I'll go through quickly. I won't be able to do all the scrappy ones because I'm one-handed at the moment. So I've gone through and picked out some yarns for hopefully next month. I've got 3 yarns still to cast on from this month, and I've got 6 days, and I've got quite a few socks on the second sock, so I should be able to do it. So this is a Cascade Heritage solid. I don't know if it has the yarn colour on it. I don't know, it's a green. I'll put it down below. Actually, I won't put it down below. I will list the colour once I start knitting with it, because there's just a lot to add otherwise because of all the things on the needles. So I'll be doing a Cascade Heritage. I'm not sure who they'll be for. Maybe my sister, maybe not. I'm going to do one of my own colours, Moorland. I've got this for my sister. This is a Yarn Smith Merino sock, and it's in the dark brown colour. Again, I'll list more of exactly what it is once I actually cast it on. And then this will be another one of my colours, which is my mini skein set, Flower Garden. I've still got a few of these in the shop, so I'm gonna wait until closer to the time when I'm gonna cast these on to take them out of the shop. So until then, they'll all be, the number is, what I'm saying, they won't be taken out of my shop until I cast them on. So, and then this is Driftwood, which I want to knit up because I think this is such a beautiful colour. It honestly, as soon as I dyed it, I thought, I was so proud of myself. I thought this is just perfect. I really think it's going to have a lovely distribution of dye as well, especially for socks or hats or something on a small circumference. But it hasn't sold. Like, I've sold barely any of it, so I wanted a sample up so people can see how beautiful it is. Same with Flower Garden. I dyed quite a few of these, and I still have several left, so I thought I'll knit up a pair of these socks so you can see how lovely they are and hopefully want to buy them. Samples do make a big difference, and I get it, because as someone who works with hand-dyed yarns every day, I'm pretty good at reading how a skein will knit up on certain things, and I get it wrong sometimes as well. I've been mistaken several times. So for people who don't use hand-dyed yarn very often, it is a bit of a gamble how it's going to look. So I fully understand why people would wait for a sample of a colour. So should have 3 new samples of colours this coming month. And then the other yarns I'll be using is a pair of scrappy socks. And it's basically, apart from the colour for the heel, maybe the toe, all self-striping, self-patterning yarns. So I'm not going through what they all are at the moment, but this is King Cole Norse. This is a Stylecraft Head Over Heels. This is a paint box yarn. This will be all one pair of socks. This is a Stylecraft Head Over Heels again, I think. No, All Stars. Then there's this one is also a Stylecraft. I went through a bit of a Stylecraft kick, didn't I? Then this is Vikings of Nordway Nordless. Then we have King Cole Norse. We have a King Cole Norse. And we have, I think that is all of those ones. There might be more behind there, but with the cat I can't really see. And then this just for the heel flap and the toe. Oh, she's slipping. So yeah, they'll be very scrappy. I'm sorry you were slipping. Hello, paws. She's a little tuxedo cat. Aren't you? Yes. So I think that is pretty much all of it. So they're all the yarns I should be using in September. I'm trying to use up all the darker yarn smiths while the weather is lighter, because the evenings are already starting to get a bit darker. And I don't want to be struggling with like a black yarn in the dark, because even during the day sometimes in the UK, in the winter, the days are just so dark. I have to have all the lights on in here when I'm working. So, oh no, there's one more. I forgot. It fell, didn't it? So there's this one, which is King Cole North in the shade Freya. I don't know if it's showing up. It's like it's much greener. This is showing up quite beigey, but this is quite green. Maybe it, no. Yeah, so there'll be a few new colours coming to, there'll be a few restocks of colours coming to the shop in the next few weeks, including Rose Tea, Pumpkin Spice, Messy. And I'm going to have a think about some of the colours that have sold out and if I want to bring them back, because I do like restocking yarns, certain ones especially. Other ones are always just a bit of a trouble, and you get so many of them that don't turn out right that the waste from them kind of makes them not really worth doing. So I'm going to have a think about which ones to bring back. She's so cute. Look, she's so cute. Very. She's getting grumpy. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate any comments and likes my videos get. She's scratching. And she's dribbling on me. Horrendous. It's horrendous. You gotta go. Go on. Yeah, so I appreciate any interaction my videos get. I will see you next week when I'm hopefully not covered in cat fluff. Stay safe. Oh, was there something else? No. Goodbye.